Hi, it's Paul here again. So this is the third out of the four videos that I'm going to be sending you. And we're going to be talking today about how we get such a great result as what you saw with Helen yesterday. So the first thing I need to do to explain that is to talk you through how the eye works like a camera. So here's a little eye I've got here. So this guy, so you've got the cornea, which is the clear window at the front of your eye. And then behind that, you've got the iris, which is the blue bit of your eye, or the green or brown bit on this one. So that's there. And then behind that, you've got a little lens that sits behind the pupil there. And these guys here act like focusing, just like in an old school camera. And they focus the light onto the retina at the back of the eye, which is the film in the camera. Now, the problem that we're dealing with is in this guy here, the lens. So the lens is about the size of a Smartie, and it's made out of protein, like egg white. And its job is to zoom. So it can focus from far away or up close, and it zooms. And the first problem you have with the lens is when you are in your late 40s, early 50s, and it stops zooming. So it gets fixed. So for most people, it gets fixed in the distance, and you can't need reading glasses, and you need further and further away, and people need reading glasses. Or if you're short-sighted, it gets fixed for up close. So you can take your glasses off and you can read, but you need to put them down because you can't see in the distance. That's the first thing that happens. That's your 40s and 50s. It's called presbyopia. Then the next thing that happens is a bit later on, in your 60s, it starts to change its prescription. So you've been going to the opticians, and your vision's not right, and they give you a new pair of glasses and you can see better. So your prescription changes. So you keep buying glasses and buying glasses and buying glasses. Then the next thing that happens is it starts to go cloudy. And then that first thing you notice, you get glare, particularly when you're driving at night or in sunlight. And then it starts to lose its clarity. So you lose the quality of the vision in the distance. So people say they can't see the golf ball, or they can't see the number plates, or they can't see the hymn numbers in church. And finally just lose all your vision completely, and everything goes blurry and you just can't see very well. And that's cataract, which is the later part of the journey. So what we do is we do a little procedure, take it out, stick a new one in. It takes less than 10 minutes, and your vision clears within 24, 48 hours. I've had people play tennis next day after the surgery, so it's very easy to do. So we need to talk about the implants. So when you saw Helen, she had implants that meant she didn't need glasses at all, distance or near. So the way to explain that is that vision, we break up vision from the perspective of what we do into three bits. So there's distance, which is like telly or driving or playing sports. Then there's intermediate, which is around the house, watching TV. And then there's close work, which is looking at your phone or reading. And we need to get the implants to focus on three of those three different targets. And if we get that to work, then you don't need glasses. Now, there's two ways that we do that, and there's two different types of implants, and we work out which implant works best for you and your life, what you do with your vision when you come to see me for the consultation. So the first way is with implants which have, one implant has all three. So distance, which is telly, intermediate, which is a TV, and up close reading. Those are called trifocals or multifocal implants. And one of those on each side, and you get very good distance, intermediate, and reading. Another way of doing this is that the brain works with 3D. So you've got two eyes, left and right. So that's how most people think of 3D, but also it's front and back. So what we can do is we can do one implant on one side, which does distance and intermediate, and the other one on the other side does intermediate and near. So that's called monovision. And that's a different way of doing it and works really well. And we do that about 50-50, we'll do one or t'other. So we use a different type of implant for the monovision, which is called a depth implant, extended depth of focus, EDOF. So I call them depth implants. So they'll do distance intermediate, or they'll do intermediate and near. And you put those two together and you don't need glasses. The third option we have is you can just have a standard implant, what I use in the NHS, which gives you distance vision. Very good distance vision, but you haven't got any vision up close unless you wear glasses. So those are the two different types of implants that we tend to use. There is a co-payment you need to pay. It's something that is for you're using insurance. It's not covered by your insurance, but we'll talk you through all the different pros and cons when you come to see me, and we've done the measurements, we can work out what's going on. Now, the third thing we need to think about with all this is astigmatism. So astigmatism is where the cornea, which is the little clear window that you look through at the front of the eye here. So it's not the lens, which is inside, it's the cornea. Now the cornea is curved. So the more curved something is, the closer it focuses, and the less curved, the further away it focuses. So there's a relationship between how curved it is and where it focuses. And we need all of these curves to match up so that it all focuses onto the retina. Now the implant, if it's just a normal standard implant, will have one curve. And if the cornea has only got one curve, then it's fine. But a lot of corneas have got astigmatism, which means it's a different curve one way that is top to bottom. So it's like a rugby ball shape. So it's not the same curve top to bottom as it is left to right. And if that's the case, then we need to put in the implant that we put in, if it's only got one curve, will focus onto one of the curves on here, but not the other one. And therefore, it's not quite all in focus back here. So the vision's not that great. If, however, we use an astigmatism rugby ball shaped implant, it's called a toric implant, to match the toric implant that's in here, then everything's in focus and it all focuses onto the back of the eye. So we use astigmatism toric correction on all of our implants, just the standard distance ones, the trifocals, all the depth ones, in about 50% of the cases, because it gets a much better result. So those are the three different types of implants that we'll be using. So there's a standard implant, which means you need glasses. There's the trifocal or the depth implants. And we'll talk you through which one works best for you when you come to see me in the consultation in the clinic. So that's quite a lot to think about. It'd be worthwhile watching this video again. Make sure that you've had a chance to think it through, and then I'll send you the fourth video tomorrow when we can talk about the pros and cons of different types of implants. See you tomorrow. Bye.